She said she'd be back in 2 weeks, just to think, just to live for herself. No tears, no drama, like she wasn't walking away from a family, but stepping out of a lunch meeting. But the moment she said another man's name, everything cracked. 16 years, one son, a shared past, all of it suddenly reduced to bargaining chips in her quest for clarity. He didn't yell, didn't beg. He listened, took note, and began to act, quietly, precisely, cold as steel. While she was off finding herself, he was changing the locks, not on the door, but in his soul. Rewriting the ending, one where forgiveness was no longer on the table. Hello, my friend. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel. If it's your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, as every like truly inspires me. Please tell me which city and country you watch this video from. Now, let's get started. I can still picture her across from me at the kitchen table, calm as if she were walking me through a recipe. No tears, no trembling, just words delivered like she'd rehearsed them. I need some time, Ryan. She paused, said she needed a break. I blinked, not sure I heard correctly. A break? She gave a small nod, swirling her coffee like the motion might somehow erase the weight of what she was saying. Just a couple of weeks. I need time to think, she added, as if this was some routine bump in the road. People need time. Marriages have rough patches, but she wasn't done yet. There's someone else. And that was the moment it all shifted. I felt like I'd been hit in the chest, my breath gone in a second. I just stared at her. What are you saying? I managed, though the words barely formed. She stared down into her coffee like maybe the bottom of that mug held an answer. His name's Derek. We've been talking. It wasn't planned, it just happened. I stayed silent. I couldn't do anything else. My brain was chaos, and my body hadn't caught up. She kept talking, like she was giving me some kind of gentle goodbye. I'm not saying I'm leaving for good. I just need to be sure. Sure of what? I finally asked. I need clarity, she said softly. About him. About us. I owe myself that, and I owe it to you. I can't keep pretending. I need 2 weeks with him. No contact between us. After that, I'll come back and we can talk. I almost laughed at how insane it sounded. You want me to just sit here while you test drive someone else? She let out a sigh, like I was the one being unreasonable. Please don't make this harder than it already is. Oh, my bad, I said sharply. Didn't mean to interfere with your little side project. I'm trying to be honest, she said, like that earned her some moral high ground. How noble of you, I muttered. Then she stood and said something I'd never forget. Don't be dramatic. It's just 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. She grabbed her keys and walked out, her bag already in the car like she'd choreographed the whole thing. I stayed at the kitchen table, eyes fixed on the mug she left behind. Half full, still warm. 2 weeks. I couldn't process it. She wasn't just leaving me. She was walking away from our 16-year-old son, Nolan, like she was postponing a dinner reservation. Like our life together was something she could hit pause on and resume later. But she didn't see what was coming. I wasn't going to wait. I wouldn't plead. I'd end it on my own terms. That first night, I barely spoke. I barely moved. Sat out on the porch with a beer, watching the street lamp buzz and flicker like it knew something I didn't. By the second night, I had a plan. I remembered Derek. Not personally, but I'd seen him once at one of Clara's work parties. One of those guys who acts like every room is his audience. Loud laugh, sunglasses indoors, the whole cliché. So I did what any man in my position might do. I started digging. And what I found? Derek came with enough red flags to decorate a stadium. 2 failed businesses, a pending lawsuit for stealing proprietary ideas, and he was living above a shuttered bar he used to co-own. This was Clara's maybe. I wasn't angry anymore. I was insulted. So I called Heather, my lawyer. She'd helped incorporate my company last year. She owed me. I need you to draft divorce papers, I told her. I'm not filing yet, just want them ready. You sure about this? She asked. She left to get clarity, I said. Now it's my turn. She didn't ask again. Next, I reached out to Alyssa, Clara's best friend, the one who always hinted I was too good for her. Figured you should hear it from me, I said. Clara left. She's spending 2 weeks with someone else. Says she's figuring things out. Silence. Then, you're kidding. I wish I were. She didn't say much after that. But later that night, I saw her post an Instagram story. White text on a black screen. Some people don't realize what they had until it's gone. Clara was tagged. That set the dominoes in motion, and I had no intention of stopping them. On the third day of her so-called retreat, Clara sent a text. Hey, just checking in. Hope you're okay. I stared at it for a while, then put the phone down. Hours later, I replied, Yeah, miss you. Hope you're finding what you need. She sent back a heart emoji. I actually laughed. She thought I was still here, waiting, holding on. And that's exactly what I wanted her to think. I kept it light, responded occasionally, just enough to soothe her conscience, let her believe the fantasy. Meanwhile, I was taking care of business, shifted most of the savings out of our joint account, left just enough not to raise suspicion, removed her from my emergency contacts, changed all the passwords, set up a second phone, and for the final move, I invited her parents over for dinner. They always liked me. Clara's father, Gavin, carried himself like someone misplaced in time, formal, inflexible, and the sort of man who communicated more with looks than language. Her mother, Harper, had a refined edge to her, the kind of grace that could slice clean through with a smile. Halfway through dinner, I delivered the truth like a dropped fork on porcelain. She's gone, I said, easing my utensil onto the plate. She left to be with someone else, told me she'd be back in 2 weeks. Maybe. Gavin's jaw shifted, like he was grinding down granite. Harper's face lost its color entirely. I'm sorry. What did you say? She asked, as though she'd misheard or hoped she had. I said it again, clearly. She needed to find out what it felt like, to be sure. Gavin didn't respond. He just sat there, his fingers curled around a whiskey glass, staring into the wood grain of the table as though it might offer answers. Harper murmured, "Unbelievable," under her breath, repeating it like a sacred phrase. As they prepared to leave, she took my hand, squeezed it gently, and whispered, "You don't deserve this. Not any of it." I offered her a soft smile. I know. Clara had chosen chaos. I chose resolve. She struck the match. I walked through the flames. Exactly 2 weeks later, to the hour, she came back. Not like someone returning from ruin, more like someone who'd stepped out for a walk. Her key still worked. She breezed in casually, left her bag by the entrance, and smiled as if everything had reset. I'm home, she said, like I'd spent the past 14 days holding my breath. I was seated on the couch, watching a rerun of a show we used to love. I didn't even look her way. She hovered in the silence, probably expecting me to leap up, gather her in my arms, welcome her back. When nothing happened, she slowly walked over and perched on the arm of the sofa. I've made a decision, she said, voice almost tender. I muted the television. That practiced smile crossed her lips, the one she wore when she had something difficult to say. I'm choosing you, she said. Derek wasn't what I imagined. Being with him made me realize how solid we are. I had to be sure. Now I am. She reached for my shoulder. I pulled away. She blinked. Ryan? I stood, facing her directly, taking in a deep breath. You took 2 weeks, I said quietly. So did I. She gave a nervous little laugh. I figured you'd be upset. No, I said. That's not what this is. I walked to the side table and picked up a thick cream envelope, her name carefully written across the front. She stared at it like it might explode. What's that? Divorce papers. Her expression collapsed. Her hands shook as she took it from me. You're divorcing me? I nodded. I already signed. Just needs yours now. She flipped through the pages, scanning as if a hidden clause or reprieve might appear. This can't be happening, she whispered. It already is, I replied. You've got 3 days to return them. After that, my lawyer takes it from there. Her voice cracked, wobbling with desperation. But you texted me, said we could talk. I did, I said evenly. Gave you just what you gave me, a bit of hope, while I planned my way out. She stood frozen, the papers drooping in her grip like a verdict too heavy to bear. Her eyes welled, but what I saw wasn't sorrow. It was fear. You're making this bigger than it is, she insisted. This isn't unfixable. We can come back from this. I was confused, Ryan. I needed to be honest, that's all. I smiled, not from happiness, but because this was the exact moment I had steeled myself for. You walked away, I said. Packed a bag and left like our marriage was a lease, not a life. She stepped closer, her voice fraying. I made a mistake. No, I said firmly. You made a choice. There's a difference. She opened her mouth to argue, but I held up a hand. You want to know what I did while you were gone? She said nothing. I moved our savings, removed my name from the car lease, canceled the joint card. The only reason you're standing here is because I left the locks alone. Thought you might want one last look at everything you threw away. You're just ending this? She whispered. I let out a short, bitter laugh. No, you ended it. I'm just clearing what's left. She glanced around like the room had shifted beneath her. Maybe now it looked foreign, smaller, emptier, colder. This is still my home, she said, her voice barely audible. No, I said. This was where we lived. The home disappeared the day you did. She clutched the papers tighter, as if pressure alone might squeeze out a different ending. Then, as if reaching for her last move, she said the one name she knew might cut through. What about Nolan? The name hit me square in the chest. Our son, 16, introspective, too wise for the world he'd grown up in. You think he doesn't already know? I said. I told him. You really think I was going to let him sit there confused, wondering why you disappeared for 2 weeks? Her face crumpled. You told him? Not every detail, I said. Just enough to make things clear. Just enough for him to see who stayed and who walked away. Tears filled Clara's eyes. He's going to hate me. That's something the two of you have to work out. She started crying then. Quiet, steady tears. But they weren't for me. They weren't about guilt either. They came from the loss of control, from watching the identity she clung to unravel. Clara had always seen herself as the one pursued, the one holding the cards. Now, all that power had turned to dust. She sat on the edge of the couch, eyes locked on the divorce papers like she couldn't read them. You're really not going to take me back? She asked, her voice barely audible. I met her gaze. No, Clara. You don't get to come back. Not after everything. Not now. She didn't leave that night. Took the guest room. Didn't say a word. I didn't check on her. Didn't ask if she was okay. She wasn't mine to worry about anymore. By morning, she was gone. She didn't take much. Just her small travel bag and the envelope with the papers I'd given her. 3 days to sign. That was Friday. Sunday, I opened my mailbox and found the signed documents inside. No note, no drama, just her name at the bottom, like someone finally accepting the truth. I sat at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee, flipping through the pages. There was no rush of joy, no relief, nothing. And that, strangely enough, felt like freedom. No anger, no sadness, just finality. Later that day, Nolan came home. He'd stayed the weekend at Logan's place. I told him it was done. He nodded slowly, taking it in. Then came the question I knew would come. Do I have to see her? I paused. That's up to you, but you don't owe her anything. He looked down, quiet, then said, she didn't just leave you. And in that instant, I realized it hadn't only been my heart she discarded. It was his too. We started putting things back together, one piece at a time. Quiet mornings, dinner on the patio, weekend trips to the lake with my brother's kids. Little by little, the house felt like home again. Our home. As for Clara, she tried rewriting the past. Alyssa mentioned she'd been reaching out to people we both knew, saying we just needed time apart, that maybe I'd acted too fast. But nobody was buying it. People talk. And Alyssa? She doesn't play nice with the truth. She wants everyone to think she's the victim, she told me over coffee one afternoon. But the thing is, you never tried to make her the villain. That's why they believe you. I smiled. I didn't need to get back at Clara. The truth did the job on its own. About a month after she'd signed, her name flashed on my phone. I was climbing into my truck, almost ignored it. But some small part of me wanted to know what she had left to say. Hello? She was already crying. Soft, shaky breaths on the line. I don't even know why I called, she said. I just needed to hear your voice. I said nothing. I messed up, she whispered. I know I did. Derek wasn't who I thought he was. I left him. And now I don't even know who I am. She paused, waiting for reassurance, for mercy. I gave her neither. I miss you, Ryan, she said. I miss what we had. I miss us. I finally responded. No, Clara. What you miss is the version of me who would have taken you back. Silence. Then she asked, do you hate me? I thought for a moment. No, I don't hate you. I just don't need you anymore. Another pause. I understand, she whispered. I'm sorry. I hope you find what you're looking for, I said. Then I hung up. That was the last time we ever spoke. A year later, I met someone new. Daphne. She's kind. She's real. She laughs like she means it and never makes me feel like I have to earn her love. Nolan likes her. That says everything. Clara? I hear little things now and then. She lives in a small place across town, works a job no one seems to know much about, goes out alone a lot. Her pictures online look like she's still chasing something that slipped through her fingers, still performing for an audience that already left. But me? I sleep just fine. Not because I got revenge, not because I won, because I didn't need to. Clara thought she held all the power the day she walked out. She thought I'd wait, just in case she wanted to come back. But I made a choice too, and that changed everything. In the end, she believed it was her decision, choosing between two men. What she never saw coming was that we had already chosen, and that's the ending she never expected. This story has come to an end. What's your opinion? Share it in the comments, my friend. And if you like this story, check out other exciting videos on my channel. I'll say goodbye until the next video. See you.